Hey guys, just finished watching Gotham season 4, episode 8, Dark Knight. Stop hitting yourself. Um, this episode was interesting. I mean, it was different, dealing with a lot of the Butch stuff and the Grundy stuff, and dealing him within the cages being run by Penguin and all that stuff, and dealing with Tabitha finding out about him, and the Gotham City Sirens kind of finding out about Grundy and all that stuff, and how the things going on with that. That's kind of interesting, that storyline. And then the storyline we also got with with Bullock and James Gordon trying to becoming captain and stuff at the end of this episode. That's kind of interesting, closer to him being coming. It was really interesting when the mayor said you'll be becoming Captain James Gordon instead of Commissioner Gordon type of thing. I think that's pretty interesting that before we get the official Commissioner James Gordon type thing, obviously way on by the end of this season type thing, or about the end of the show, whenever this is, hopefully if it makes to season 10 or something like that, or season 15, maybe that's when we would get him becoming Captain James Gordon, or Commissioner Gordon, when when Bruce Wayne finally becomes Batman and all that stuff. So it is interesting seeing all this stuff, seeing the different things now that James Gordon is the captain, and Leslie Tompkins is running the Fight Club here, or whatever it's called, and the Sorrows, or the Burrows, or whatever. It's interesting seeing all this storyline with things going on. It was quite fun seeing the different things going on with Barbara and Leslie and Leslie Tompkins, and the relationships with that, and the things going on with it was disappointing though not seeing anything of Bruce Wayne in this episode, but I think that would have been a bit too much stuff going on in this episode, and they had these really big storylines that set up a lot of things going on, so it was nice seeing these storylines really talking about them and dealing with these and stuff. But it was disappointing though seeing nothing what to do with Mr. Pig or anything like that, or Professor Pig. He was nowhere to be seen in this episode, although it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool episode, using him to round everyone up in next week's episode. That's going to be really cool to seeing that, when he rounds everyone up, from Bruce Wayne to Tabitha to even Sophia Falcone, and seeing her dealing with stuff. And it's interesting that even speed of Sophia Falcone is that Penguin's getting onto her and stuff like that, now that he sees what's going on, and kind of using this kid that he's playing with, that he's kind of teaching and mentoring and stuff, like he just as Sophia Falcone said, find someone to mentor, find yourself some chickens, and this kid is pretty much his chickens. He's something for him to mentor, and things to outside of being the criminal and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be interesting to see who this kid turns out to be. I'm looking at it here on IMDb, and it doesn't give him a name. It just give him, there's Martin here. So I think it's just they're just calling him Martin or something, whoever that kid was called. But they don't really get to see who it is or anything like that. We'll have to wait and see if that becomes someone else from the comic books. I mean, I don't know anyone who's a mute off by hand in the comics or anything like that. But we'll have to go through. I'm gonna go through my encyclopedias and stuff, check that out, Batman stuff. So we'll see what comes out of that, because eventually, maybe later on, farther down the road, we could see him turn into someone. That could be really a cool storyline once Penguin's done mentoring him. But I think I'd like to keep him as a mentor to Penguin for a few seasons. I think that would be a cool way to do it. So I think that would be a fun way to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go with all these stuff. We didn't see anything of Zaz in this episode. I think it's 2 episodes, so it's interesting to see if he'll stick around. But so far so good. I really like what's going on. And again, Robin Lord Taylor as Penguin is always spot on, perfect. Everyone's perfect as their character. And it's kind of nice, but I'd like to have seen some if Riddler is so dumb as he is, then it should have been really easy for for Selena Kyle to capture him. It would have been cool to see her, try and sneak up on him, and then him running away, and her just using her whip to kind of, nope, don't go that way, don't go this way. I think it would have been a cool idea. They could have had some cool whip play with that, and having her use it, because just having it on her and strapped to her but never seeing her use it is not interesting at all. We need to see her actually use it, and I think it would have been cool to see her try it on Butch, on Grundy and stuff, and him just kind of knock it off, and it barely even hurt him type of thing, his skin or something like that. That would have been interesting. And then, like I said, seeing her play with the Nigma and kind of whipping at him while he's tied up or something would have been a cool storyline to see, or cool thing just to see and see her use the whip. So yeah, it was quite interesting seeing with the whole thing, finding out that, this now Leslie Tompkins is in charge of this underground fight club, and they're no longer talking to Penguin. I'm no longer talking to Penguin and stuff like that. And when he finds out that even his mole inside of there is taken down, I think he's going to be really mad as to who does he send after that. I mean, is Bridget, they didn't really confirm, is Bridget dead? I mean, Leslie only shot her tank. So is Bridget, I guess Bridget is captive of Leslie and this team and these things. Did they kill her? Did they knock her out? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Firefly is a cool, interesting character. I'd like to kind of see her keep around. She's a one of the few super comic book accurate characters in this show, so I'd like to see her stick around in some sort of capacity. So it's gonna be cool to see though who, like I said, Penguin sends with next week's episode or later to after all these Penguin, after Riddler and all these guys there in this show, since they're not, they don't have a business license, they don't have a criminal license, they don't have a license that they should have, and also they have Ed, and he wants Ed and stuff. So it's gonna be cool to see who they use for that, and it would be cool to see someone like Grundy was scared of fire, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe that's a Grundy thing from the comics, kind of like Martian Manhunter. But it would be cool to see Grundy versus Captain Cold, or not Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze and stuff like that. So maybe he could send Victor and stuff like that, and that would be a cool thing, seeing Victor, trying to freeze things, shooting some icicles, and Grundy just kind of knocking them away type thing. That would be an interesting fight to see go through and see how much is he affected by cold and all that stuff and different things. It would have been cool to see go on, because fire is one thing to be scary type thing as it's coming out of a gun, but ice is not really, if he's not smart enough to think of it. So I think it could be an interesting thing to see how that works. So all this is an okay episode, not a super duper episode, but definitely not a filler episode or anything like that. So it was a pretty good, nice episode, and a lot of endings in this episode are going to be continuing on for the bit. So there's going to set up things. So a lot of things were set up in this episode. So that's why it was a really good episode. And everyone was stellar on this episode. So it's definitely interesting to see how these things are definitely gonna go on and affect the rest of the season and the rest of the show from here on out. Unless James Gordon, gets demoted and Harvey comes back in by the mid-season final, that would just be stupid. That would be terrible. Even if by the end of this season he, have him back, I'd like to see him stay captain for at least the rest of this season and the next season, season 5. If we get another season, I'd love to see him stay there, and then maybe season 6, him be like, yeah, it was good while it lasted, but I'm just not feeling it, not yet. That way we can push him back and push her farther away from. That way we can't have him, because I don't think if he stays here forever, he's so close to he's too close to becoming Commissioner Gordon. So I think keeping him here for a few seasons and then having him go down again, letting Bullock jump in when Bullock feels better for it or something like that, and then going back, I think that could be a way to play it. Or just keeping him captain could be a way to do it, just keep him captain for a very long time. We'll have to wait and see how things go with that. And so let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What do you think of Season 4, Episode 8 of Gotham? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?